Good morning, everyone. This is John Scarborough. We finally got some electric fence here on the property. We didn't have any at all. All we had were these permanent barbed wire fences. And I'm not complaining about it. It is nice that they were already here on the property. Definitely very useful. But we wanted to add some electric fence on the bottoms of the fences. I'll show you some of that later. But we wanted to add some electric fence on the bottom in order to run sheep, but also so that we have something to run these temporary lines on, so that we can have a little bit more flexibility on our cattle and maybe even play with some mob grazing and see how that works out for us. Whether we mob graze or not, I definitely don't like giving 30 cows. I don't think you can even see those cows over there. Yeah, maybe you can kind of see them there in the shade right now. But I don't like giving 30 cows 18 acres. I don't care if I'm mob grazing, I don't care if I'm rotationally grazing. Doesn't matter what I do. I still give it 30, 45 days rest, but it's just too long on 18 acres. You end up with cattle trails, you end up with dead spots. They end up with parasites because they're gonna overgraze certain spots and eat all the way down to the ground, and that's where all the parasites stay, is real close to the ground. So I don't like any of that. I'd like to at least give them, I find that about 6 acres is not bad. You leave them on there for about 3 days, that's not bad. You still don't get the benefit of mob grazing. So we may or may not get into that, I don't know. But we're definitely going to be playing with this electric fence to shrink our pastures down and hopefully get into some sheep. So what I did here, I got some poly braid. It's not poly wire. This is supposed to be some really good stuff. So I went ahead and bought it. But right here, this is my dead end. So what I did was take a little T-post mount, I think it's about 5 inches, and tied it to that and hooked it in that. And when your line is slack or whatever, that thing can jump all around, and that thing doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it will not come off of there. I tried my best shaking it everywhere to try to get it off. So I think that's going to work out pretty good. I really like it. For a dead inside, I can just hook it right there to my barbed wire. I can hook it, heck, I could hook it to my T-post. I can hook it to anything I want, and it works perfectly. So that's what I got going on there. We're really excited about this temporary line. We put this in, me and Savannah did last night. And well, I say last night, it was in the evening sometime. It's when the cows want to move. So we put it in and moved the cows from this pasture over here back into here. Now, I typically do not like moving my cows backwards. This has been trampled a lot. Wasn't really grazed very well, but there are some places up there that's been grazed. So I'm breaking my own rule here and got them back in here before they should be. But I kind of had to do it. Just in order to get them back to where they are going. I didn't want to push it too much since this is their first time. They've never even seen electric fence, and then I'm putting a temporary fence on them. So I thought about trying to just drive them through, but I was like, man, if I do that right now, I'm really going to mess up. So I went ahead and put them back in here. There's some pretty good residual here. I mean, it's not the best, but at least they're not overgrazing anything. So I'm breaking my rule, but I wanted to make sure that they did not run through this wire. But I mean, I got a temporary fence going all the way up in there. You can't see all of it, and I know it's crooked and bent up everywhere. I was trying to find the best spot to put these posts because we have nothing but clay here, guys. I mean, when they got this land out here, they cleared it, and then they took all this topsoil and sold it. So we have nothing but clay. So trying to find a good spot to put a post is really hard to do. And I mean, I actually went and sharpened these posts like with a razor point, and some of them are still really hard to get in there. So that's my first time setting up any temporary fence, trying to get my camera to work here right. But it seemed to work out all right. I ran it up in there, and I don't need near as many posts as I put in, but I wanted to make sure they could see it. So I used every post out of a box of 50 that I ordered. So there were 50 posts in here. I think I only needed 25 according to the math. But I mean, I wanted to make sure that they could see that. And they did. As soon as they walked in, they saw it. It took them a while to even mess with it, and finally one hit it. I was actually kind of wanting to see them hit the thing, because I wanted to make sure, you know, even though my tester says that it's working, a cow's never touched it before. It's just something about it. You want to make sure, you want to see it get hit, so you know. Just gives you a little bit of a comfort. But I may drive up here and show you some of this. This might end up being kind of a long video, y'all, so bear with me. I'm trying to make sure I can get it all in here. I know I'm bouncing around everywhere. But this has actually turned out to be pretty good. The cows, a couple of them got popped. It wasn't real bad. I'm just using a charger that I actually found right now. I haven't invested the money into a good charger yet. We're just trying to make it, y'all. So we'd like to actually start making some money off of some of this before we spend too much. There's a little bit of a creek. Had to kind of go down inside of it. Can't hardly see it real well. Had to improvise a little bit and drop that down in there. Hope y'all could see that better than I can on my phone. But just kind of had to drop that down in there. And some of these spots like that right there, they could actually step over it. So I'm really hoping that they don't. But there's a lot of guys I've seen videos of, and I've actually talked to some people in person that do a lot of this, and they do quite well. They don't seem to have any trouble out of any of it. So I mean, they'll be running one line. I even saw a video where one guy was running he was running a line 13 inches off the ground, and it was for his sheep, but he ran bulls in there, and man, it was crazy. Those bulls were so trained to that hot wire that they actually used it. There's the cows over there. I don't know if you can see them real well, but they stayed in that. They could have easily stepped over it, never had a problem, but they recognized what the wire was, they recognized what their boundaries were, and they stayed right there. Didn't have any trouble. So I thought that was very interesting. Of course, the guy, he was moving them every day. Anyway, it's right here is the fence. I'm really hoping it'll work out. I gave them a really big area here. I'm trying to make sure that they can have plenty time to get used to this fence. And then I'll start shrinking my areas and playing with even some mob grazing in some places and just see how it works out. We do a lot of different things to try to make a living on this place, so you know, we don't always have a lot of time, you know. Once they get trained to it and we figure out how to do it all, I can see us being able to move them once a day for sure. You know, there's some people out there that move them twice, 3 times, 4 times, even more than that sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry. This is some really bumpy ground. I hope this video is worth actually posting. I'm bumping everywhere. I'm on my golf cart right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. It can't make it up this hill. This is a really steep hill. But we're coming up to the end. I just wanted to show you how we did it up here. It's not the best. Like I said, it's the first time I've ever even run this thing. We were trying to figure it out last night. But we got this. We're clipped into our fence. And there's the reel. And here's our fence right here. We just ran that. That is, some of it's 14, some of it's 13 inches off the ground. And so this is an existing barbed wire fence. I don't know how well you can see that in this lighting. It's really hard to see. I hope y'all can see it. But so it was for cows. We just added that, and we got one barbed wire at 7 inches and one at 13 inches. And then we come up above that, and I think that one's 19. And then the next one might be close to 30. But there's only one hot wire, and we're really hoping that we can run sheep in there. Now, if anyone knows anything about sheep and they have something to say about that, I would appreciate a comment. We've raised goats before, but we've never raised sheep. My brother, he's raised some sheep, so we're wanting to try it out. We're going to experiment in a smaller pasture and see how it works. If it doesn't work, then we may have to add more hot wire or something like that. But so far it's working. The only thing I don't like is we're so low to the ground that when we hook our reel on, we cannot, I have to lay it on this little, I got this little deal that I'm using as an insulator. It's just a little bag. Used to have a pair of clips. I don't even remember what you call them. Anyway, it's just a plastic bag is all it is. I carry it with me, and that just helps to insulate in case that wire were to touch down there. Then you know you're insulated. But all I did here is I just, for now, like I said, I'm really on a budget right now as far as this stuff goes, because we're experimental. We don't want to waste any money. So I just took the reel that this wire came on, and I just built this little, I just made some boards that would hook up to it, some wood that would make it a little more solid, and it fit, I'm not going to touch it, but it fit that, that sucker rod, fit it right through there. It's only about 2 foot of sucker rod. We happen to have some laying around. It's 3/4 inch sucker rod, I think. It worked really, really well. And then I just temporarily, I just put a hose on there and taped it on there pretty good. That's just temporary, but you know, really this whole reel is temporary, because this is not, you know, this is 1-to-1 ratio on turning, you know, but this is stainless right here. I happen to have some stainless. I hooked that on there, and really, if you were to have some sucker rod, this is only going to be a couple dollars worth of material. It is heavy. I'm not going to lie about that. I actually thought about doing some with some PVC, if you could find some 3/4 inch outside diameter PVC. They have 3/4 inch PVC, but if you know anything about PVC, that's not going to be your outside diameter. It's going to be more like close to 1 inch or so. I've never actually measured it, but you would need at least 1/2 inch PVC or something. This stuff literally fit in there, I mean, perfectly. So that's why I went ahead and used it. You know, I have access to a welder and a cutting machine, a cutting torch, and well, I say I have access to it. I mean, it's mine. That's part of how we make our living here. But I mean, so I just threw this together quick. I think it took me 10 minutes, and it, you know, it works. Seems to be working very, very well. Outside of it being heavy and it not having a lock, everything else seems to be working really well. So this video has really drug out. I'm sorry. I don't really know how to get it all in one video. But we're really excited so far. It all seems to be working out. The cows have not gotten out. They're all still in this half. I think they were a little bit confused, because the first thing they like to do is run out there to that creek. I don't know if you can see that. That's one thing we were excited about with the electric fence, is being able to hold them off of there and only put them on the creek when we want to put them on the creek, because if they're allowed to get in that creek all the time, they're going to cause washouts really, really bad. And you're going to lose a lot of topsoil around that. That creek has seriously expanded within just a few years. So we're really trying to get a handle on a lot of that with this electric fence. So I'm not going to let this video drag out too much. I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the things that we're doing. It's really exciting. We're really happy about it. We're really hoping that it'll all work out. If anyone sees any of the things that I'm doing and they have some advice or some thoughts on it, please, you know, let me know. To say something in there. Say something in the comments. If you like this video and this is helpful, give me a thumbs up. That really helps me. I'm trying to grow my channel, and if anybody is interested in just following along and wants to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, if I can be helpful to anyone with this, then subscribe to my channel. So thanks, and have a good day.